The story kicks off in an underground subway station, where we see a massive box with an eerie artificial intelligence voice narrating, which declares it will control the entire world, every electronic device, from cameras and CCTV to missiles and mobile phones. It claims humans are becoming too dangerous and must be stopped, so it's hatched a plan to take over. Enter our lead, Ethan Hunt, played by the legendary Tom Cruise. He receives a tape from the US President, Ms. Erica, who reveals that the entity has seized control of global systems, rendering cybersecurity useless. Nothing digital is under human control anymore. Ethan's mission is to retrieve Port Kova from the Sevastopol submarine, using a key he already possesses to either destroy the entity or secure it before it falls into the wrong hands and triggers global chaos. For context, Sevastopol is a Russian submarine tasked with national security, and Port Kova is an AI with advanced thinking abilities capable of controlling everything. But Port Kova grew too smart, betrayed its creators, and hid itself deep underwater. Its goal now is to infiltrate a worldwide defense system in Congo, Africa, to dominate all electronics globally. This is the core of the movie, watching the entity spread its influence and Ethan's desperate mission to stop it. We also get flashbacks from the previous 6 films and the first half of the 7th, showing Ethan's journey with the IMF, Impossible Mission Force. He's tackled threats to cities, countries, and the world, losing teammates along the way, but saving countless lives, even those of people he's never met. A famous line from the movie sums it up: "We have no shadow, no trace. We've saved nations and helped those we've never met." Unlike past films where missions came through unique methods, this time Ethan gets a simple analog VCR tape, not digital, so the entity can't hack it. The tape self-destructs 5 seconds after delivering the mission, a classic Mission Impossible touch. Ethan's task is to stop Gabriel, a rogue ex-IMF agent who wants to control the entity to rule the world. Luckily, Ethan's old French-speaking assistant, Paris, has joined his side. Ethan assembles his team to plan how to defeat the entity. First, we meet Benji, a skilled hacker who's helped Ethan succeed in past missions. Then there's Luther, Ethan's loyal partner since the first film. Luther's created a game-changing device, a USB-like tool with a virus capable of trapping the entity. But the team is incomplete, so they set out to recruit more members, including Paris and Dazuka. They head to a police station to free Paris, who's handcuffed. Ethan and Benji disguise themselves as cops, leading to an awesome fight scene. Every Mission Impossible film has 3 staples: mask reveals, chase sequences, and survival scenes involving air or water. Here we get the mask moment as Ethan and Benji impersonate police. At the station, they meet Dazuka, a cop who Ethan convinces to join them, explaining the global threat. Their next move is to confront Gabriel at a huge party, where they've gotten a tip he'll be. But the police show up, suspecting trouble. Enter Grace, a slick thief from the first film, who helps Ethan dodge the cops. However, Gabriel's crew corners them. Gabriel, who once shot Ethan's first wife, is someone Ethan despises. It turns out the entity is manipulating Ethan by pitting him against Gabriel, knowing they're bad blood. Gabriel initially worked for the entity, but was betrayed when he tried to control it, so the entity now wants Ethan as its new pawn. The plot thickens as Gabriel reveals a bombshell. In the third film, Ethan stole a tube called Rabbit's Foot from China, unaware it contained a virus that could empower AI. Essentially, Ethan unintentionally created the entity. Right now, the entity is confined to a box in an underground location with limited access, controlling only a few countries. To gain full power, it needs Port Kova stored in a secure safe on the Sevastopol submarine underwater at an unknown location. Ethan has the key to this safe, but when Gabriel demands it, Ethan refuses. Furious, Gabriel goes after Luther, stealing the virus device and leaving him trapped in the subway with a massive 5 to 6 megaton bomb. Luther, a hacking and bomb-diffusing expert, insists he can disable the detonators to limit the explosion to the tunnel, saving the city. He urges Ethan to escape, warning that opening the door could trigger a blast that would destroy everything. Heartbroken, Ethan reluctantly leaves his friend, knowing his sacrifice will protect millions. The loss devastates Ethan as he escapes just before the explosion. The police, led by Briggs, arrest Ethan, puzzled that he surrendered the key so easily. Briggs suspects there's more to it given Ethan's history of outsmarting governments. Ethan reveals his plan. The entity needs Port Kova to connect to Congo's defense system for global control, and only Ethan can stop it. He asks Briggs to team up, despite his distrust of police, to outsmart the entity. But Briggs refuses, just as the entity predicted. Ethan is taken to a secret U.S. facility where high-ranking officials, including the president, debate his past missions. They acknowledge he saved the world, but never followed orders. Ethan pleads with Erica, insisting he needs a helicopter, a submarine, and a jet to stop the entity. The officials object, fearing the entity's control over missiles in Europe, Africa, Bangladesh, and Australia. They doubt Ethan's loyalty, but Erica trusts him. She publicly orders his arrest, but secretly arranges a helicopter to take him to a submarine. Ethan's team plans to pinpoint Sevastopol's location underwater to retrieve Port Kova. While Ethan dives to the safe, his team will cut a hole in the ice above for his escape. The key to finding the submarine lies with a scientist in Siberia named Langley, who created a secure system in the first film. But when Ethan's team reaches Langley, Gabriel's men are already there, setting the stage for a tense showdown. Ethan Hunt's team is racing against time to locate the sunken Sevastopol submarine. The scientist Langley, who once built a secure system for the first Mission Impossible movie, doesn't have the machine needed to pinpoint the submarine's exact location. Gabriel's team demands he build it, but luckily, Benji, the brilliant hacker, is there to help. Together, Langley and Benji work on a device that can track water waves caused by the massive explosion from Sevastopol's torpedo. A machine had previously detected the location, but it relies on an outdated CD drive, which is hard to come by in 2025. So they start rebuilding it from scratch. Meanwhile, Ethan takes a daring leap from a helicopter into the icy waters, where he'd requested a submarine. A group led by Richard rescues him, offering their full support. Ethan explains his plan: get him to the Russian waters where Sevastopol sank. Richard warns that the area spans 150 trillion square meters, nearly impossible to search. Ethan assures him his team in Siberia is working with the scientist who send the exact coordinates within 2 hours. He asks Richard to keep the radar ready and drop him at the pinpoint location via submarine, promising to handle the rest. To survive the deep dive, Ethan needs a specialized suit. A woman named Helena steps in, warning him about the dangers of descending 800 feet, far deeper than the suit's tested limit of 300 feet. She explains the risks. His body could shut down, breathing could stop, and hypothermia could set in. Despite the dangers, Ethan's confident he can pull it off. Back in Siberia, Langley secretly tells Benji he's memorized the submarine's location and doesn't need to build the machine. To avoid tipping off Gabriel's team, he hides the coordinates in a watch and hands it to his Mongolian wife, asking her to pass it to Benji. She needs someone to accompany her to feed their barking dogs, so Grace goes along. As she tries to slip the watch to Grace, Gabriel's team grows suspicious, sparking a brutal fight. Meanwhile, underwater, Ethan faces a new threat. The entity, the rogue AI, has hacked the mind of a submarine captain who engages Ethan in an epic one-on-one battle. Let me tell you, this fight is unreal. Even at 62 years old, born July 3rd, 1962, Tom Cruise's Ethan moves like a 25-year-old, delivering jaw-dropping action. Ethan barely escapes with his life. Back in Siberia, Benji, Grace, and Langley overpower Gabriel's goons and secure the coordinates. The plan comes together perfectly. The coordinates guide Grace and Benji to a spot on the icy surface, the submarine to the water's midpoint, and Ethan to the ocean floor where Sevastopol lies, all aligned in a straight line. The director's genius here is mind-blowing. I'm telling you, if anyone explains this better than me, I'll change my channel's name. As Ethan enters Sevastopol, he faces total darkness. The submarine, submerged for years, is flooded and falling apart, but some sealed pods remain dry. He activates the lights and finds bodies from the first film's disaster. He reaches the safe holding Portkova, but as he retrieves it, the submarine's weight shifts from water-filled pods, causing it to roll. The exit seals shut, trapping him inside with heavy torpedoes. Yep, torpedoes, not missiles, as I learned. With his suit's oxygen running low, Ethan spots a torpedo exit tube. It's narrow and his oxygen tank gets stuck, forcing him to rip off the suit and crawl through. The rolling submarine fills with water, making escape nearly impossible. This scene had me holding my breath. How does he do it? Ethan miraculously makes it out, and Grace, waiting above, cuts through the ice to pull him to safety. The mission now is to stop the entity, but it needs a physical form to be contained. Luther's genius shines again with a tiny 360 terabyte drive designed to trap the entity, a device as brilliant as his earlier virus. The team's plan is to head to Congo, Africa, to a secure matrix site holding massive data. Think yottabytes, beyond even hexabytes. This solar-powered bunker is built to survive any disaster, and the entity wants to infiltrate it to outlast humanity and create a new, emotionless generation. The catch? They have just 1 second, 100 milliseconds, to trap the entity in the drive before it enters the matrix and launches global missiles. If they act too early, the entity won't take physical form. Too late, and the world's doomed. The virus drive is with Gabriel, who's already at the Matrix site, plotting to control the entity. Ethan's plan is to team up with Gabriel, give him Portkova, and let him insert the virus drive. As he does so, the team will connect Luther's flash drive to the Matrix server to trap the entity in that critical 1-second window. But things go south when police officers Kittredge and Briggs arrive to arrest Ethan, unaware he's saving the world. Another intense fight breaks out, but I'll keep this short to avoid dragging on. Gabriel, anticipating Ethan's move, has a plane ready to escape. He knows Ethan will bring Portkova to him as long as he holds the virus drive. Ethan chases Gabriel in another plane. While back at the Matrix site, Gabriel's team has planted a 30-megaton tornado bomb, enough to wipe out a continent. To defuse it, while Ethan pursues Gabriel in a high-stakes aerial chase. In the plane, Ethan faces a twist. The controls are in the back seat, not the front, forcing him to switch mid-flight. This nails the third Mission Impossible staple, a heart-pounding air or water survival scene. The submarine dive covered water, now we get a breathtaking sky sequence. Meanwhile, Benji, tasked with hacking the entity, takes a bullet in the chest, blocking his vacuum tube and stopping his breathing. Paris, despite only speaking French and insisting she's no doctor, y'a pas for ça, pas médecin, cuts into Benji's chest to create a makeshift airway, saving him. Benji instructs Grace, when the red light turns green, disconnect Luther's drive and cut the wire linking the entity to the Matrix. This traps the entity in physical form without letting it seize control. As chaos unfolds, the government pressures President Erica, accusing her of trusting Ethan with choppers, submarines, and jets, risking billions. They argue their defense system is still secure, unlike other countries that are hacked, and propose launching missiles to destroy those nations, sacrificing 100 million lives to save 7 billion. Erica refuses, unwilling to sacrifice anyone. Back in the sky, Ethan confronts Gabriel, snatching the virus drive and connecting it to Portkova. As the entity enters the Matrix, Grace pulls the flash drive in a split second, trapping the entity before it can launch missiles. The world is saved. In the end, we see callbacks to earlier films. Briggs, once Ethan's rival, offers friendship. The submarine and aircraft captains, along with Erica, who risked everything, celebrate the victory. We learn Erica's son, a soldier, was in one of the targeted countries, making her decision personal.
Ethan, the IMF's fearless leader, retires after completing his mission. The team reunites in Congo, though I'm puzzled why everyone's wearing black. Maybe the director thought it looked cool. The IMF hands Ethan the drive containing the entity, and each member returns to their lives. The movie wraps here, closing an epic chapter.